transposing the formula V equals pi d squared h over 4. Let's transpose this formula for h. So if h is the letter we want to make the subject here, the focus is on the right hand side of this formula. So what do we have in terms of operations with h? We have h being multiplied by pi d squared, and we have h being divided by 4. So there are two types of operations there to be broken, and they are multiply and divide. So the inverse of multiply is divide, and the inverse of divide is multiply. So we'll have to use those two in different moments. So what do we do first? Which one do we remove first? The h needs to be on its own. It means we need to remove the 4, the pi, and the d squared. Thinking about the layers around this h, the layers start around h here, the multiplication of d squared and pi, and then stretch, expand to the divided by 4. Remember the peeling an onion idea? We have to start from the outside. So the first one we want to remove is that 4. What is 4 doing here? 4 is dividing because it's sitting under the fraction line. So if it's dividing, the inverse will be multiply. So what we'll have to do, and I'll just write the formula again here to get it really clear. So if the 4 is dividing the right hand side, which is our focus because we want h on its own, we have to multiply both sides by 4 because the inverse of divide is multiply. Why do we do that? Because we want to keep the balance. We do it to both sides to keep the balance. And we multiply because multiplication cancels with division. So what are we going to be left with? And it's very important that we write this again, writing down, literally going down, but writing what we have left so we can again analyze what the next layer will be. So what do we have left now? Pi d squared h. H is our focus. So what are the operations to be removed? Multiplication again. Because we have the invisible multiplication connecting the pi d squared with h. Inverse of multiplication is division. So what we do is we divide, because of that reason, both sides by the elements that we want to remove. We want to remove pi and d squared because we want h to be the subject. Pi d squared. Both sides to keep the balance. So let's see what cancels out. Pi divided by pi, top and bottom always cancel out. D squared divided by d squared. Note that that square had nothing to do with the h. The square had to do with the d. So what are we left with now? 4v over pi d squared equals h. H is now isolated on its own, and we could rewrite this as I have been saying, left to right. So h equals 4 multiplied by v and divided by pi d squared.